Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Dugout Mug Studios. Variety Sports Network presents the seventh inning stretch.
Let's go, baby. Big night here. May 1st, we're here with you on the May Day with it. I know we got Tyler McGurk with us for a few minutes here to start out the show. And, of course, Josh Edwards, as always, here on 7th inning stretch. You just saw him on 314. We got Melinda in here. Going with our Raiders. We got our guy Bowers. We got the tight end out of Georgia. We'll keep it 7th inning, though, tonight. Jordan, thanks for joining in with us. I know Josh was a big fan of the Cardinals 1st April there, so we'll maybe get into them a little bit as well. We'll talk about the best players in April. We'll get into who's hot and who's cold right now. We'll also kind of get into our trivia, as always, with Josh Edwards, too. But let's get right into it, gentlemen. I want to just remind everybody, Variety Sports Network, continue to subscribe here at the network here. We're working hard with it. Privileged to have Tyler on here with us for 10 minutes, but we got him here with it. So let's get right into it. All right, Mike Trout, he goes out. He goes down. It's almost like one of these things now, right, guys, where it's like we know it's going to happen. We're just not sure when, where, how, what. He said, I have the quotes going at the bottom here. Be sure to check the ticker of everything today. He's at one point, he says, I just stood up and I knew. Like, he is like, that kind of point with it. So I thought this guy, I don't know, Josh, like, is it just for you, here we go again, or is for you, this is the, like, how do you kind of initially just view this injury again? And he says he'll be back again at some point, but there's no timetable.
Of course he'll be back, and no, there's no timetable with a torn meniscus. I mean, we can go best case scenario there, but how's his body going to recover? He's had multiple injuries, not necessarily the knee, but, I mean – he's a broken record, man, and it's an absolute shame for the MLB, for the fans of the Angels, for him personally. The dude, he was the dude. He had the potential to be the guy, and unfortunately for him, injuries have hindered his entire career, and he never got onto the big stage when he was healthy, and the MLB and the MLB fans really just got slighted by this because we never got to see what Trout could have been. It'll always be what if with Mike Trout. It's never going to be this is what he was.
And his stats are still obviously, unreal.
Yeah, I feel like there's a league course not so fast, my friend. I mean, the guy's a 3-time MVP. He's done as much as a lot of guys in a short career. And obviously, it's a what could have been because of these injuries and the constant injuries. It's good that it's not a back, which was killing him the last couple of years and which is keeping him out. He was off to a good start, I would say. It wasn't the great start that everyone was pretending. It was a 220 average. He was hitting jacks like no one. The home runs were all there. He's just a special player, and it really sucks that it's not good for baseball. And I don't know. It goes back to him being on the Angels all these years and signing the contract. And then, I don't know. Trout's had one of the weirdest careers in all Major League Baseball history.
All right. I saw this article. I thought this was good. So he had a few questions. I took 4 of them. I thought we could answer here. And then we could go through with it. So first one I have is, was this Trout's last chance as another truly epic Trout season? Was this like his last one, or is next year another, all right, here we go again. He can get off to another good start. Do you feel like this is the end of it, T?
No, I think I mean, every time he plays, he produces. It's just whether he can stay healthy. And do I believe he'll stay healthy
now after a back and knee?
I mean, do I believe he'll stay healthy for a full 162? No. But when he's in the lineup, I still think he has the potential to be the best baseball player in all baseball. That's how good he is. But I didn't believe it even this year that he'd have one of those epic years because of the injuries before this one.
Josh, you think it's his last one?
I mean, it's his 13th year in the league. He's 32 years old. I mean, I would say it's not – I'm not going to go out on the limb and put all my credibility out there and say, yeah, he's done, it's over. But I would say opportunities are dwindling away quicker than they're gonna present themselves at this point in his career. I mean, he's Mike Trout. He's blessed.
The dude he's got a good second half career, right?
He's just. I mean,
you're looking at his stats. I think right. Like you look at his home runs as well. Like 2020, a shorter season, 17 bombs. I know it was a shorter season because of COVID, but still he would miss some games there too. Then he has 8 the next year because of injury. He goes 40, 18, 10. So he is definitely going down a little bit in that. So I mean, there is some loss with it. Who's Trout moving forward now? We kind of answered that. Do you think, Josh, you were kind of on that point? Do you think, like, is he just he's proven that when he has Ohtani, like, he can't carry the show yet. Like, I don't know where he's at now. Like, it's weird where he's at, like, in the history. He's almost like these guys that reminds me of that played in the old days where it's like, yeah, one team made the division. He just always got screwed or something like that. It's like, no, this is not the case with this guy.
No.
Like, he could not make it. It's weird.
I'll put it this way. I think the only way he has an epic season at this point in his career is if he strictly DHs. I think as a fielder, it's too much of a risk.
What do you think of that, Tyler?
I think DHing him's a good idea. He played with Ohtani, but the rest of that roster was hot garbage. Like, it was. I think he can still not carry because he can't play enough games. But if you put him in like a veteran role where he's playing 115 games a year, and that's all you're playing him for, you're not playing him every day. You're giving him Barry Bonds at 40 years old. Like, your scheduled days off.
Yeah.
You have to load manage the man at this point, or you're not going to get more than 50 games out of him. And it sucks, but it just seems to be the nature of the game.
So where do we want him then? Like, where do we want him at? Should be like? Is this the Angels should trade him, right?
I just want him out of Anaheim. I want him playing somewhere else. Just do something different. Maybe
He's got
anything.
6 years left on the deal.
Change the scenery. Who would take that contract, though? I mean,
The
the Angels
Giants
would have to eat a lot of it.
Giants, come on, Giants. Would you be happy if the
hope
Giants? Yeah, Luciano.
I mean, I would it'd be something to believe in on the offensive side. I mean, it's better than anything they're throwing out there now. Jorge Soler and Chapman signing. Yeah,
you give him Chapman away. Snell, Chapman, goodbye. We'll give you that for him. All right. Do you guys? I put it at, like, the guy asked, "Will our kids understand Trout's greatness?" Like, I don't even know if I understand Trout's greatness. Like, it was kind of like it happened. It was long, but it was like he played for such bad teams that it wasn't always in your face with it. You guys feel the same way, or were you like, "Yep, nightly basis"? I know his rookie years, his first 2 years, I felt yes, it was right there, right? He made the playoffs with Pujols, but then I just felt like there was a little magic. It was there, but he didn't market himself well. Remember, that was part of the deal with him too, and like everybody gave him crap for that. Like, he just never talked. I don't know, guys. Like, I thought this was a time for us to talk about the best player. A lot of people say that in the last 10 years, and he's hurt again. And I don't know. What do you think about Josh?
I mean, historically, his great. I think kids will understand his greatness as a individual. 11-time All-Star, 9-time Silver Slugger, Rookie of the Year, 3-time MVP, 3-time runner-up MVP, finished in the MVP top 5 voting, 8 times. I mean, the dude, individually, he's great. But for me, greatness is taking the players around you and making them better. So what will they see it like? This is my problem with sports anymore. It's because now it's so individualized. And it's not always team. That's what bothers me about it. So, yeah, individually, he was great. But, I mean, he's never going to be down. For me, he will never be in, like, the top 25 best players ever. He just won't be. And probably not in the top 50 ever.
No.
But the potential of what he could have been one of the top 10 players we would have ever seen.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, they never had the opportunity for that.
He could be top 50. I don't know.
I think he's definitely going to be in the top 50. He has 3 MVPs. There's like 8 guys in all baseball who have that many MVPs. His peak just isn't long enough. He could go down as like the Mickey Mantle if he has 2 more healthy years. He's not that far away from like over 500 home runs. If he can just
he hasn't had a healthy year since 2019. Good luck getting 2 more out of him.
I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but he could. Like, he's that great of a player. It's an interesting. He's had such high highs and low lows. The injuries and playing for Anaheim, it's just hard to wrap your head around anybody else who he could be. Like, I've heard, like, everybody knows who Mickey Mantle is but he also, people say, came up short because of the alcoholism and the injuries. Like, so I don't know if there's like another guy you could compare him to in his greatness.
2012 to 2019, he either finished 1 or 2 in the MVP. Trout.
He finished 4th once.
He finished 1 or 2 every time in that run there. He finished 4th in 2017, finished 5th in 2020, finished 8th in 2023. So obviously those injuries are they kill a star of the game, and we'll see how it affects him historically. I want to say Griffey, but that was the only one I could kind of think of where like maybe but Griffey's. I don't know. That was the only one.
Griffey still put up 600.
Griffey's
like
still better than Trout.
Yeah, Griffey's came way later. I feel. I like his
Pujols
injuries
is better than Trout.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about
I mean,
it.
I'll even say Bonds was better than Trout. I think Trout's
I
better.
know.
Bonds
I
is better
saw
than
your-
both those guys you mentioned before.
I know, Josh. I saw Josh's insane tweet today. I had to bookmark it. He said Bonds is in top 10 even. I was like, oh my
Nope.
gosh, Josh. I was like, oh yeah.
Who said that?
Josh Edwards said that was it.
Gosh, not top 10. He's better than Stan Musial.
No way.
No way. All right. Hey, well,
Not better
on
than
that
Ted
note,
Williams.
hey,
Not better
I
than
gotta
Bob
hit the
Gibson.
road.
Not better than Lou Brock. Not better than
He's not
Nolan
better
Ryan.
than
Not better
Lou
than
Brock.
Randy Johnson.
What are
Not
we
better than
talking
Kurt
about here?
Schilling. Sorry.
Kurt Schilling. He's definitely better than Kurt Schilling.
Okay, maybe better than
All
Kurt
right,
Schilling.
I
That's
gotta
just
go.
going
It
on
was a
there.
pleasure talking baseball.
All right, Tyler. We'll get to that another
See you,
time.
Tyler. It's always good to see
See
you,
you
buddy.
guys. See you next week, hopefully.
All right, Josh, that will be another discussion. I think you lost your mind on that topic. We'll get into that one, though, with Bonds
Fine.
not being top 10. We'll get to that one.
Bonds
Steroids-
was an absolute asshole.
Okay, well, that's talking baseball. That's how
He tripled in size from the time he started playing to the
All
time
right,
he finished.
if steroids
His
is
head
the-
got bigger.
if steroids is the thing, then maybe we have that.
I'm not saying it's just steroids. I'm just saying as a complete package. No, he's not in my top 10.
Man,
There
he's
are
the best
50
player.
other ball players historically I would rather meet than Barry Bonds.
I can't think in my lifetime. There's nobody I saw ever.
In my lifetime, that's different.
Well, that's a long time. 30. I can't think of anybody that ever dominated the pitcher the way he did. Like he actually dominated the pitcher.
As a hitter, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
All-around player, I say no.
I mean, he's got at least 5 Gold Glove. I know. I think he has more than that, but I know he's got.
And he got all those win.
Right when he was on Pittsburgh.
Bingo.
There
I
you
loved
go.
him. I love him as a Pittsburgh Pirate. He was great.
But that still adds up to his stats, right? I mean, he was still good. I mean, I know he got some on the Giants. I don't know if he didn't get as many on the Pirates, but I know he got a lot on the Giants as well. Bonds, it's not for me. It's not even close. It's like he's just Pujols is maybe he's probably maybe 3 for me in that, right? Or maybe 2 as one up there. But Bonds would be heavily, and we'll get to that a different time with it. All right, MLB April all teams with it. What do you think, Salvador? We looked at it from. It was kind of interesting. We'll get into like what teams were a little bit hot and stuff like that. But the players I had down, I have them at the bottom here of who I had hot. But just a few off the top of the list. Obviously, Altuve was awesome from the Astros, even though their team had a terrible April. Betts was
We're gonna
awesome.
go position by position, or are you gonna jump around and mess with me?
I'm just messing with you, but you'll add yours in here. Who you got for catcher?
So that's the one position I didn't pick.
All right, who you got? You give me first base then.
Freddie Freeman.
All right, you got Freeman there with it. All right, I took Naylor from the Guardians.
Naylor was my second choice.
Yep, thought he had a good start there. Second base.
You already said Jose Altuve, who I had. I'm gonna take Ozzy Albies because he was my number 2.
Good choice. Albies as well. All right, how about shortstop?
Go ahead with yours first, because I bet you we both have the same guys.
My guess is Mookie Betts.
Yep, and
I just went with Mookie Betts. I didn't go anywhere.
so I took Gunnar Henderson as my number 2 because
Yeah,
I feel
okay,
like
that's a
you
good
had
pick.
Betts.
Yeah, 10. I took Mookie first, though. Gunner 10 with it. We're gonna get into Gunner here in a second. Third base. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the person I don't think you have.
I have
Mykeel
Alec.
Garcia. You have
Ooh,
Alec Bohm. I have
Alec
Alec Bohm was my other one.
Garcia. That's a good little choice there. I like that. Like giving him a little love over there. We know Bohm put in. Now his defense is kind of picking up as well. All right, let's get to the outfield with it. Who do you got in left field? If you went with 2 center fielders, I'm not gonna hurt you with them, but whatever. Who you got at left field as we had?
I got Stephen Kwan.
There you go. That's a good pick. I had him as well. That's exactly I had him. I have as well.
I had Profar as my alternate.
All right, yeah, not a bad choices on left field in terms of names. Well, I'll throw out a couple other outfielders here we have with it, but he was one. How about for center field?
Brenton Doyle.
Really? All right, that's
Colorado. He is,
Colorado.
dude. He is lighting it up
He was that.
because he plays in Colorado. Nobody's hearing about it.
Yeah, he is. I like it. I went Mike Trout. I still with him. Just
Trout
for
was my
April.
number 2.
Yep, I went him with it. And then right field.
Soto.
Tucker was the
Tucker.
other guy where I was like, all right, if I could just add Tucker in as left field.
We did not discuss this at all.
No,
We did
no.
not discuss this once.
But I think like Tucker is over. Like we're putting him in left field. Sorry, we're moving him. We're making a decision there. All right, so those were our April All Stars hitters. I had catcher. I had Salvador as there as the catcher on the list with it. Who'd you have on your pitching?
So here's what I think.
Go ahead.
Here's where I don't know if we're going to be in alignment here.
All
so
right.
I took one from each league. I took Jose Barrios from Toronto.
Okay.
And then I took Shotei Imanaga from Chicago.
I like it. I had him on the list of it. My top guy was Ranger Suarez from the Phillies.
See, I knew you'd take him. I actually crossed him out.
5-0, 1.32 ERA. I had him on there. I had a couple other guys on the list here as well, down below, as you're kind of scrolling along with us as well. I had Blanco on there too from the Astros as an honorable mention for sure too. So his stats have been really good as well. Tanner Houck from the Red Sox has been really good as well. So had to throw him out as well. All right, how about relief pitchers?
So I just went to closers because relief was just taking me too long to decide.
Yeah.
So I took one of my guys and I took one of your guys.
All right.
So I took Helsley because he's got the most saves and he's been the best closing pitcher in the MLB right now. And
awesome.
then Mason Miller.
Yep.
Beast mode over there in Oakland.
Yep. He's been awesome. The gas that he throws is just ridiculous. It's not even
stupid.
It's stupid. That's exactly what it is. The 103 consistently. His curveball, slider thing, whatever you call it, is filthy as well. It's unreal. That's a filthy. Great pick. I had him as well. I also had Clay Holmes in there as well from the Yankees. He hasn't given up a run, has 9 saves. He's been awesome as well. But Miller has been absolutely ridiculous for the A's. Great call there with it. It's funny because as we move into May, you forget about that.
Or not?
I didn't do DH. I just had. I guess that's why you could say Tucker for me as a guy. It's put it there. I didn't do DH.
I had Shohei and Marcell Ozuna.
All right, I like that. Of course, yeah. Ozuna, Ohtani. What position? Yes, you're the best. Yeah, what does it matter what play? Yeah, you're. Oh, catcher. Yes, you're the best catcher. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
He could do that. He's really tall, man. I don't know if he can catch.
I bet he could do it any though if he has to. I bet he could get away with it.
His pop time would be horrible though.
They're punting on him. They're punting on Ohtani. That'd be great. All right, so those were our all-stars for April. But I was saying as we move into May, obviously sometimes as the season moves on, you kind of forget about April, but it's such a key to a lot of these guys getting off to like these hot starts and getting it rolling to make all-star teams and all that. Like you forget the all-star games here before you know it. So sometimes you look back and you're like, who made that all-star team? And you're like, how did Chipper Jones not make it? It's like, well, this guy had some unreal start to the season and Chipper didn't. Like these things do make a difference as you look into it. Some of these guys and we named obviously a lot of studs, but like Naylor would be one that stands out to me that might, sneak in at a first baseman in an all-star game, right? You're not expecting him at the beginning of the year. So that kind of stuff happens with it. So, all right. So I thought that was kind of a fun little look at the April. What do you think about the AL Central hot start right here, man? Like the division itself too. Like you look at the standings too, right? You got the Guardians with 19 wins, Royals 19-13, Tigers 18-13, Twins 17-13. We obviously talked about the White Sox in the basement a couple weeks ago. But if you focus on if you just focus on those 4 teams though, which I just kind of put out some very basic things here at the bottom to kind of get a little kind of conversation going with them. They've been just awesome. The Twins again win today. I think they have now their 10th win. I think that's even should be updated there. So what do you think of that with the and then the Royals? They get their franchise record 17th win. This division is definitely outperforming what we thought.
Heck yeah, they are. I mean, so we all picked somebody different for the AL Central to win. I took the Royals. I don't know if anybody took Cleveland. I think Minnesota was the other popular pick. Yeah, okay. So you took the Twins. Detroit's better than I thought they were going to be. Chicago's way worse than we thought they were going to be. But this division, I don't know what's going on. I need to see them play other divisions and other better teams more consistently. The one thing I am seeing here is that Cleveland is 11-7 versus teams over 500. The Royals are 5-10. Detroit's 9-8, and Minnesota's 7-13. So that tells me that they've been playing. Most of them have been playing a little bit of a weaker schedule at this point. But we'll see what happens. Okay, you're looking at the exact same page I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. The AL Central is gonna give us more of a ride than I think any of us expected them to give us, and I'm fully on board for it. Like, let's go, baby.
Well,
Like the
and
Central Division's been taking so much heat for so long about how bad they are, and the AL Central right now is playing really, really good ball. And I hope they keep sticking it to everybody else.
well, the key is then, Josh, can they keep it up? You know what I mean? The Guardians had a tough loss to the Astros last night. I'm going to update people on the scores here in just a minute, just to let everybody know. But we got that. I'll give you a little update here on the action here on a Wednesday night. But stay with the Central there. How about the Royals though? Like I feel like we talked about them, but we've kind of skimmed over them a little bit too. I know you got some buddies out there that'll probably be pumped up with them as well. Man, like they just seem so composed. They have the Witt angle where they signed him, and it's like, okay, we got our stud. Like we can feel good about that. We have Perez as our veteran. We can feel good about that. And then you can just fit in all these little pieces that are developing around him. And then you add in like one of the better pitching staffs in the league, and you got yourself a kind of a squad you weren't expecting. The Royals, do you think? I don't know. I talked to fans there. They're still like, are you getting the same kind of feeling still?
I don't. So here's the great thing about Kansas City Royals fans that I've talked to.
Yeah,
they're very realistic. Okay, cool. It's been a fun start to the season. We'll see if they can keep it up. Just like you said, I was hot on this team in the offseason with the acquisitions they made. They brought in a lot of veteran leadership. They got Bobby Witt signed, Vinny Pasquantino or Pasquet. I apologize for messing up your name, dude. I really do. Right now you're cold, but you've been playing good ball since the start of the season. Salvi's the guy I wanted to come to St. Louis over Contreras. Yeah, and I know Contreras has got the big bat and he's got the cannon for an arm, but I wanted leadership behind the plate, and Kansas City has that. I think that's a lot of why KC is overperforming right now, and I'm going to call it overperforming right now because I need some more proof in the pudding. But if they're playing like this come Memorial Day, I'm going to stick with them, and I'm going to ride them just like I did Arizona last year. And I'm going to keep them to win that division.
I found it funny because remember, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I did an over-under, and I asked, will the Guardians win 91.5, or I think it was 92.5, I think it was. And everybody's kind of laughed like, whoa, way too high. Too high. And right now they're still like, it's still early, but the offense is still there. The pitching is still performing. Stephen Vogt has these guys playing well. The new manager influence. We'll see if they can continue in there. But the Guardians, to me, have been the biggest surprise in Major League Baseball.
Biggest good surprise for Major League Baseball. But I have a question for you in regards to Cleveland.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So was Terry Francona really the key when the team was really, really good, or is the front office actually know what they're doing and they're getting things done?
I think the Guardians I've always said this about the Guardians and / Indians is they've always had a really good team, players on their franchise. Like they've always had, if you look back, they've always had good players. They just had periods of time where they weren't real. They had the Sabathia area that was weird. That was they didn't they just had some weird eras, and they made some bad trades where they'll trade people that unexpectedly, like Manny Ramirez, or they'll give up guys that you're like, why are we giving up these guys? It doesn't make sense. So, but they always develop these players. So I always feel like they're always a trade possibility because of those situations because they always are up there for trades. They're always available to make them. Even if it's a guy that's not just on their last year deal. So I think the Guardians always surprise me in that regard. The Tigers to be up there again consistently in third place. They've been there as well. And then the Twins on a 10-game win streak. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean the Twins have just been hot.
And then Flaherty striking out 7 against your Cardinals.
Dude, no, he didn't strike out 7. He struck out the first 7. He ended up with 14 Ks, the best he's ever looked in his entire career. So I'm
where was that, buddy?
I'm gonna make a formal apology to Jack Flaherty. Logan Stone, listen, because I'm only gonna say it once. Apparently, Jack Flaherty could figure it out now, and it looks like he might be able to meet the potential that the Cardinals always hoped he was going to be, that they weren't willing to bet on. I don't blame the Cardinals for not betting on him, but he said something in an interview the other day, and I said, if you would have been that guy in St. Louis, you would have been re-signed to the paycheck you wanted. He said he finally learned to listen to criticisms and understand that he doesn't know everything and that sometimes he needs to make changes.
Yeah.
when he ridiculed St. Louis media for telling him he needed to adjust how he was pitching and throwing the ball because he didn't believe the St. Louis fan base and the media knew what they were talking about baseball. He's realized that they were right. He did not want to come back to St. Louis, and he made the Cardinals pay for it yesterday. He still got the no decision because the Cardinals offense came through in the ninth inning. Alec Burleson with the hit to tie it up and keep the game going.
Yeah.
But he pitched to Jim. It was fantastic. And if he pitches like that the rest of the season, he's going to get that big contract he wanted in the offseason.
Yeah. And that division, like, obviously is now going to be – it's going to be something I'm going to be looking at as we're moving forward here, going into the season, as we kind of move forward with it. And like I said, now that we're doing this podcast, is like I'm interested in all these different teams, kind of checking their websites, what their big storylines are sometimes. So it's kind of fun to kind of follow their journey along the way. And we were not fans of this division. We called it one of the top. I think we had it at number 6, I believe, as the worst division in baseball. So they were proving us wrong here, no doubt about it. I just want to give people a little update along the way here. I got the Cardinals and the Astros game up on the screen there, bottom of the ninth. Cleveland, excuse me, and the Astros playing there in the bottom of the ninth. Get to see if the Astros can win their 4th straight game after a really slow April. We got the Dodgers beating the D-backs right now, top of the 3rd to start out there. Detroit beat St. Louis 4-1. Brewers 7-1 over the Rays. White Sox go down 10-5, as we said, to the Twins. Royals win again against the Blue Jays 6-1. The A's, are we gonna be the major league story? Is it gonna happen? Are we gonna get it? Are we gonna have that moment?
I hope so.
That would be awesome.
I hope so.
That would be awesome. We go out with a bang, no doubt about it. They end up winning 4-0 over my struggling Pirates. They're really struggling right there. So 4-0 there. Braves, John's Braves here, 5-2 over the Mariners. They kind of silenced the Mariners a little bit. 2 first-place teams out there. Phillies, though, now take first place in the NL East. They beat the Angels 2-1 today. Zach Wheeler moves to 3-3. Zach Wheeler, Josh, continues to be an absolute stud. We talked about him on that signing. Man, just what a beast they are. 21 wins for the Phillies now. 21 wins. Crazy.
Yeah. Surprising. This team usually struggles out the gate. They usually get hotter in the summer, and they sneak into the playoffs. They are showing something a little bit different this year. I think Bryce Harper has some ulterior motives. I'm not saying they're bad, just saying they're different than normal. That's all. I should say alternate motives. Let me put it that way. It's a little bit cleaner. This team's ready to go. Schwarber's hitting the ball well, still striking out like a strikeout machine. But
I'll always do
when
that.
he makes contact, them balls.
But yeah, but Alex Baldwin talked about too. Really
and Bohm's has been playing out of his mind, which I'm kind of waiting for him to come back down to earth.
And who's your guy? The guy behind the plate. You gotta like him, of course. You gotta like your guy JT, right? You gotta like.
I mean,
no.
Hold on.
That's surprising.
I still think he's one of the best catchers in the MLB. I'm just not a super huge fan of him. I would love him on the Cardinals. I'm not saying I wouldn't love to have him.
Ryan, BS in sports. So what do you think? Right, comment it here with it. All right, a couple other games here to get to. We'll move it on. Padres 6-2 over the Reds. The Ohio Sports Talk. They get the loss. Cruz gives up the grand slam to Crowensworth as the Reds fall to the Padres. Both teams with 16 wins there. Yankees 2-0 over the Orioles, and another good pitching game. Orioles 4-1, or the Marlins 4-1 over the Rockies. Cubs 1-0 over the Mets. And
did you see the end of that game?
I did not catch the very end as I was getting ready for the show here with it, but we will get it up on MLB. I have it on the ticker here, ready to go. So I will see it with you, hopefully live here as we look at it with it here. So end of the ninth there, moving to the top of the 10th with that game, moving forward with it. The other last game I had on there, Josh, was the Giants lose again in Boston. They're 2-8 now, all time in Boston. And then the Nationals beat the Rangers 1-0. So a lot of good pitching performances tonight around the MLB this year. And so that was fun, kind of looking at. That's the one thing about a Wednesday night compared to a Thursday night with us is all the games are on. On a Thursday, sometimes we get 4. We get like 3 games. It's like
travel day and day off for some teams.
It's a weird day, but it's a.
Can
good
we
day
stay here for a minute? Because I got some more questions. All right,
please.
Cool. So I'm in control now, ladies and gentlemen. Darren's taking a back seat. Are you surprised with how well the Washington Nationals are playing? I mean,
Very
they're sub 500, but they're 14-15. I mean, they're playing competitive baseball with nobody except for C.J. Abrams.
Well, the one thing that's surprising me is their bullpen.
Yeah.
Their bullpen's like kind of lived, and they've been really aggressive on the bases. They played the Giants out here and had like 9 stolen bases, I believe, in the 3 games they played. But they were really putting pressure on the defense. You have Abrams, like you said. You have professional hitters like Winkler in the lineup as well. But then you have a lot of no names that we're just not aware of that are like Vargas batting over 300. You're not aware of those guys. So, but the pitching for me has been the difference. Then Finnegan at the end, who last year was really up and down, has been good for him at the end of the year. He was really up and down, especially the second half. So I'll be curious if his arm can hold up. Like he was lit up in August and in September. So we'll see if he can hold on with it. But that has surprised me. The Nationals there with it, for sure. I don't know if I can put them on who's hot with it. But is there another team in those standings? We kind of went over some of those teams tonight playing that could have stood out to you.
What is happening?
Pirates. My Pirates.
I mean, I told you not to get high on the Pirates. I told you to stop smoking that Pittsburgh stuff and to come over and at least be with me, and you couldn't do it. Pittsburgh is going to crash. Cincinnati's going to crash eventually.
What the Padres do? That's the weirdest team to me when we go over these. Like, that's the weirdest team.
Because their roster, man. On paper, they should be so good.
Yeah, they should. That's always the oddest team to me.
But, I mean, you look at the NL West, the only team over 500 is the Dodgers. Diamondbacks have not seemed to figure it out again yet this year, but defending NL champs, who knows what could happen. They could get hot. Corbin Carroll has not played up to where he was last year. The Padres are still, in my opinion, playing worse than they should be. And again, it's because of the roster they have on paper. But, I mean, the Dodgers don't look as dominant as we thought they were going to be. I expected them to have less than 10 losses at the end of April and to still be tearing teams up. They're only 9-8 at home. They're better on the road. And let's be honest, they have a losing record to teams that are 500 or better.
Yeah.
The Dodgers are not invincible. Ladies and gentlemen, the payroll does not always mean how good you're going to be. It doesn't always translate. But the Dodgers are going to go try to be the Yankees of the late 90s and the early 2000s. They're going to try to win championships. And I'm going to laugh every time they don't win one. It's going to make my year. Even if my Cardinals have a horrible year, the Dodgers lose, I'm good with it.
Hey, so you're like me with the Yankees and Red Sox back in the good old days. That's where I was. Basically, that's how I thought of it. I was like, gosh, those teams, they suck. I was like, beat them all. Go Marlins. Go Josh.
What has happened to Tampa Bay? I mean, Boston's in third. I told you Boston was going to be sneaky good. Not win the division, but they were going to mess up some seasons. Boston's in third place at 18-13. They're plus 41 run differential. Tyler O'Neill's back. They are 11-5 on the road. Like, why are all these teams playing so good on the road and not as good at home? Now, they're only 6-11 against teams over 500. But what is going on in Boston, and why is Tampa Bay 4 games under 500?
The Tampa Bay one, and to me, you have to get – remember I kind of made the point to this in the offseason when I feel like somebody else was on with this, and I said, is there a chance for Tampa Bay finally has an offseason? Like, they had, like, the bad media stuff with Franco go on. They didn't really make any additions that were like massive. They've lost the last couple rounds in the first year. The division's only getting tougher. I felt like this was a chance. I felt like this was a year for they got rid of, as my guy Glasnow, right? No, whatever I say. I like it. Yeah, so we got rid of him. Or my point is I thought there was this chance to happen, and so I'm actually not too surprised by this start to the season. I think they are the last place team in this division, and I still kind of stand by that. I don't think they're a bad last place team. Like, they're not like the White Sox. They're still going to be competitive a little bit, but I don't think that they're going to be in that same running like they were the year. I just don't think the pitching is going to be able to hold up the way it has over the last 8 to 10 years. I think there comes a time where it ends a little bit, and this is the year I feel like they have a little down year.
Yeah, I at this point I'm going to agree with you. I just, I thought they were going to figure it out because they always do with one of the lowest payrolls. They find the diamonds in the rough. And this year, they just haven't done it yet. What's up? Back it up. How are you?
I know, man. Good to see you.
I like that logo down there. That's a great
looks
logo.
Really sick. I kind of, on that point, though, like, I just got to stay on. I have who's hot, who's cold at the bottom here. And because you were talking about that on that Rays, and feel free to bring it, Josh, you have other points. Just take it wherever you want with me on it. But I kind of had that. I kind of wanted to stay with that because I have who's cold, and the Rays were on that. list who I have here. So I thought maybe we
You
could
had
go.
the whole team.
Yeah, I had the Rays on there, but I wanted to throw out the last place teams and just go because I thought like this would be our conversation point with it. You have your Cardinals, your Rockies, your Marlins. We talk about Astros. They sit in last place here early on in in these divisions. These are our cold teams. Not saying that they're awful, but they can turn around. It's April. We all know that, people. But what we're saying is right now, this is the bottom of the barrel.
So here's what I would say. I would say most likely the two teams that aren't going to be at the bottom coming into the season are the Cardinals and the Stros. The Angels could. I mean, the Stros are only. I mean, technically they're tied with the Angels.
Yeah.
They got one less win and one less loss. So the Angels could end up falling apart now that Trout's out. So Houston probably doesn't finish last. Miami still probably finishes last unless they get their pitching back somehow or something happens and they put it all together. I still think the Cardinals finish at worst case third. The Rockies are going to probably finish last because I just don't see anybody else in that division pulling it up. Chicago's toast. And I don't know about the AL East. I don't think anybody knows about the AL East. I thought the Rays had
Josh Lewis, we always got to shout him out as soon as we see him, obviously, right there.
Dude, Josh, how are you, sir? Hope you're doing well, buddy.
501, Josh. I saw the tweet today. I just started 501.
Who knows what could happen in the AL East? That division's going to beat each other up. I mean, at the end of the season, we can still see Boston in the bottom. I don't think it's going to be the Yankees. I was wrong on that one. I was wrong there, but I also took it. That was a hot take when I said that.
Come on, Marlins. Come on, Marlins. I thought you were going to pick it up for Edwards. So that Marlins. I thought Edwards. Come on,
they're so decimated. I mean, it's hard to even hold it against Skip Schumacher or the players on the team at this point because they're missing so many pieces.
I hold it against them. I don't hold it against the vendors. I hold it against that. Let's see what 8-24. They had 8-24. I'm definitely that's.
Hey, it's better than 6-25.
There is. The White Sox really holding time, and so we have the Rockies 7-23. My goodness, as well. And then Susie, like we said, those Astros 10-19. Right now they're fighting. They could be on a 4-game win streak. Maybe they're starting to figure it out. I don't know, but they've been bad as well. The Astros. Wow,
they sent a Abreu down to the minors to figure it out.
He's been bad, but Tuve, we talked about him even being as good as he's been. And they just haven't. And then we talked about Blanco being pretty good, obviously. So you think that's enough, but they just haven't had the bullpen that stepped up enough. And they haven't. Hader has not been the $1 million. The 75. What was it? $95 million man. He was.
Yeah,
so
almost 100.
So, yeah, that was. We talked about him being 100 million possibly. He almost got it. So they've been there with it. So that's our who's cold. I have with that. You got a who's cold as well.
I had players. I went players.
Yeah, I got a few too. I got a few players as well.
I'll give you my list. You tell me if I'm wrong.
Well, yeah, just give me your next. Yeah, give me your next one.
Vinny Pasquantino. Again, I'm sorry I messed up your name, buddy. Rosarena, Tatis Jr., Bo Bichette, Ronald Acuna Jr. has been ice cold the last 7 days, and Lars Newbar is just not getting it done in St. Louis. He's part of the
Mr. Newbar, always a fan favorite. I feel like.
Newbar.
And then obviously we talked about Walker, who was on this list. He would have been on this list last week as well. What do you think about Newbar? Like, is he somebody that's just never going to be a full-time player?
No, I think he's going to end up. Okay, this is a hot take, and I really don't even 100% believe this, but there's a possibility with the contract he just signed with Adidas in Japan. He's the second highest paid player in Japan when it comes to endorsements behind Shohei Ohtani. Yeah. And if it doesn't work out in St. Louis, I think he runs his butt back over to Japan and goes and plays there because he is loved by the people of Japan. And there's nothing against that. He's a great dude. A lot of fun to watch. Defense is good. He can't get that bat. He cannot get that bat to be consistent. So it's a consistent struggle. And right now the Cardinals need his bat more than ever.
On your player theme for who's cold, I had Matt Olson on there with it. Last 14 games, 3 for 38, 3 runs, 4 RBIs. Matt Olson can do this. Obviously, next week he could be on who's hot with the list as well, but he's ice cold right now. How about Jackson Holiday getting sent down to the minors? We talked about it. I still think at the end of the day, bringing him up wasn't that bad of a decision. But do you feel differently now that we look back at it and he struggled, obviously, and what do you think about those? Did they rush him a little bit? He was obviously cold.
No, I mean, so here's my opinion. When you got a guy who's playing that well and he's tearing up AAA that bad, where he can't develop anymore, or it appears that he's developed enough to at least come and struggle in the MLB. And he comes up and it just doesn't work. I don't ever have a problem sending the guy back down. The Cardinals did it with Jordan Walker last year. And when he came back, he was the second best hitter on the team. And he was fantastic with 14 home runs and hit the ball really, really well. My problem right now for Jackson Holiday has it gotten into his head because he got sent down to the minors and now he struggled back down to the minors when he got back down there. So I don't think they rushed him. I think they were just like, all right, let's see where you're really at. Let's get a good evaluation because obviously you're playing above the talent that you're against down there. We need to see what you really have and where you need to work. The thing about Jackson Holiday is he grew up around professional baseball. His dad's an all-time great in professional baseball. He's going to take this as a learning experience, and he's not going to go and hang his head and not work at it and say, oh, I blew my shot. He's going to go down there and go, okay, I need to work on X, Y, and Z so I can have A, B, and C and be successful for the next 15 to 20 years in the MLB. I'm not worried about this at all. Jackson Holiday is going to get figured out. It's just some timing in the swing, getting his head on his shoulders right, and staying calm, cool, and collected, and understanding and being confident in who he is as a player and his abilities he has.
Well, I just think I just find that part I think it's going to ultimately play out. I do find the part of the bringing him up and all that. We'll kind of see how that kind of goes with him in the minors. We'll see how long he now stays in the minors. Is it now the whole year? Is it half a year? We'll see how that kind of is it the next injury. So I'll be very curious how the Orioles kind of view him overall and those things like that. I'm curious to see how they use him, like in terms of who's the next call up. I'm guessing it's him still.
I would still say it's probably him unless they have somebody else who comes out of nowhere or comes down to a need-based thing where they need a pitcher out of the AAA club. But I'm not worried about this. If he stays down there the rest of the season, it's not going to change my opinion. Just let him go absolutely destroy everybody in AAA. Yeah. Because at that point, if you're in AAA long enough, there's injuries that occur throughout the MLB season where guys have to come down and have rehab starts and stints and conditioning stints. He's going to see major league pitching down there here and there, but if he goes and just dominates everybody else who's coming up, he's going to know worst case scenario in 2 years when these guys get called up, I got their number. So I think even if he's down there the rest of the season, all I think it does is benefit him in the long term.
It'll be interesting when he does get called up next and how he performs, obviously, now based on this first. Like, let's just say, hypothetically, go 2 for 40 the next time. So, like, you know what I mean? You're starting to feel that a little bit. So, be curious how he does this the next time with it. All right. How about who's hot this week? You got some who's hot there, Josh? And then I'll get into mine. Go ahead. Give it
Alec Bohm, Mookie Betts.
On fire.
Will Smith.
On fire.
Rafael Devers. Salvi Perez, and just as of late in the last 7 days, I'm not being a homer, he was up on top of the list, Paul Goldschmidt.
The puppy that I got, Goldie. There we go. The kids like that. That's why I said we named after Paul Goldschmidt. The Goldie, that's what we're joking. And they're like, when they named him Goldie, I was like, oh, there's always a nickname I'm going to know.
That's what I wrote down was Goldie. I didn't even write down.
Goldschmidt's starting to get a little bit, I feel like he's always kind of around May, June. That's always kind of been his story most of his career.
He literally gets better the hotter it gets.
Yeah, that's really how it is. And he played in Arizona, so that makes it it makes sense, I guess. That way, we talked about the Phillies a little bit. They were the first to 20. They're now the first to 21. Have them on the list of who's hot this week as well. How about the fights? How about the fights? I've been kind of a little bit of a fan of the fights. We had one recently. Yesterday between the
disappointing
a little bit. Yeah, so there was some pitching.
1 up, 1 down. Siri retired.
Slow little walk up there already. Like they're trying to it was kind of an odd one. Like you knew something was going to happen, but not a very good punch though. 2 bad punches there along the way. Do you like the fights though that we're getting this year? The hostility, I kind of like that.
I love it because you're seeing passion. You're seeing raw, unbridled passion and desire to win and be the best. This is something baseball needs. Now, a lot of the moms aren't going to like it because they're like, fighting doesn't belong in baseball. Well, yeah, it does. It's always been in baseball because the game is always governed. But, I mean, I love it. I just wish if you're going to swing, I want the brawls. I want the big swings, but I want them to land.
Yeah.
Like, dudes, did you guys never get into a fight in high school?
Yeah.
Come on. Like, learn to punch because you look like a bunch of – oh, that'd be politically incorrect and get me in trouble.
Go ahead, say it, Josh. Yeah, that's good.
You look like a bunch of uneducated fighters.
It would look
from
like Logan.
preppy
Is that
school.
what you said? Oh
Yeah,
my
Logan looks just like
God,
Logan.
I cannot believe
Uh,
you said it looked like Logan. Siri looks like Novar. You think he'd be a better fighter?
I would
no.
hope so, but man,
Who was it? Wasn't it Ramirez that landed last year on Anderson, right? He was the guy that.
I think so. Yeah. And then what was it? 2 years before that, it was the big fight between Odor and who did he end up fighting? The guy from the Angels, and I don't even remember who they were playing.
No, I know you're not. Josh Lewis, I won't even mention the conversation I had with Josh about 15 minutes ago about Barry Bonds. So hopefully you weren't on for that. I'm sure you would have commented in.
Oh,
So
he's going to go back and watch that now.
Go back and look back at that about 15 minutes from this spot right there. Maybe 20.
Coming on the air.
I think you'll want to slap Josh Edwards in the face. I try to do my best, but I think you'll have a must to do with it. All right. Those are the fights with it. How about you talked about him a little bit? They mace it out there, but this guy, Lucas Ekrag, he throws also 101 miles per hour. They've been dominant for the A's, though. Their bullpen's been unreal the last 20 games. They're actually playing better baseball. They're actually getting key hits that I didn't think was possible. Mason Miller with his performance, you will have to, in regards to Barry Bonds, you will have to look back at this. With Mason Miller, and you will have to get audible after Tyler was.
And just remember, Josh, it's not personal, man.
It is not personal. It's just a little bit after Tyler got off. All right, so Mason Miller, he goes to New York. He strikes out these guys, throwing 103. Strikes out Judge and Soto. It makes them just look stupid out there. I gotta say, they're who's hot. You mentioned them, but throwing 103 with the sliders they're throwing, with the absolute just placement of things, they're making these guys look absolutely stupid. I don't know how long it will stay, but these guys might be the best 8-9 in terms of stuff by the end of the year if they keep it up at the pace they're at right now.
Yeah, if they can keep it up. That's the whole thing. If they can keep it up, if the A's get them opportunities. That's the other thing. I mean, are you going to put these guys in when you're down 5 runs in the ninth inning? No.
27 strikeouts and 10. That's just, they're like
so as long as the A's are in games, yes, they're going to get opportunities and they are going to make names for themselves. And whatever the Athletics are going to be after they move from San Francisco, Sacramento to Vegas or wherever they end up, I don't know if these guys are going to be on the roster.
Oh, well, we'll see. They're apparently supposed to raise their payroll to $170 million over the next 3 years. So we'll see if they actually live up to that.
Cardinals fans have heard that before.
Josh, I feel you. Every time you see somebody throw like that, it's hard not to. But man, the guy is absolutely electric though. Right now, when you see him pitch, for one inning, he's kind of had that Chapman feel. Like when he first came up, I was like, "Oh, all right." I see him on MLB TV. I'm watching this guy throw 103 and the one thing with him is he actually dots stuff pretty good.
Oh yeah, his control is impeccable.
And then they got this other guy in the 8th inning throwing you're like, who's Erdberg? Yeah, that's why I said it right. You
have no idea. His name? I would say it's
I feel like he should be a hockey player to me. It's like Erking. That's what I feel like. I'm like, is he a Swedish guy? I'm like, so is he out there? No, I feel so. I had to have them on the who's on this list. And then for an A's guy, that's tough right now to say it because they're going to be gone. But I'm starting I'm recovering. People, we're moving through the year here. We're moving through. All right, so those are the who's hot this week with it. I thought those were kind of some fun ones, but then I like your players with it that caught up with it as well. I'm with you, the Royals guy. Him and the Cubs guy, the pitcher. Remember, Igamagaba. I can never say their names right, and then
Imanaga.
And you're like, Daren, it's Imanaga. And I'm like, I can't say it. I'm sorry. Imanaga is harder than I thought. It's so funny. I can't do it. I try really hard to. So we got that with it. All right, how about Diamond Notes? This week. We got it. Dodgers Diamondbacks delayed. I don't know if you saw it. The Bee Swarm.
That was awesome.
My gosh, the guy. I love how he's going up, getting the crowd fired up, and then he's like, gets him straight. Have you ever met a bee guy before? Just curious.
So, I know one of my former employees.
Yeah.
Who was going to school to become a doctor. So he was working for me while he was in school. Him and his fiance at the time were bee farmers.
Okay.
Made their own honey and everything. He always invited me out to go play with the bees, and I was like, no.
Go play.
No. I'm fat enough as is. If I get stung, I'll swell up like a balloon. No.
I'll play with the bees. Do you want to come out and play? That's great. I met one bee guy at the school I work at. I was doing maintenance there, and like the top of our building is made of like the way they would design it, right? Like foam, like a layer of foam almost. And I remember honeybees were able to eat their way into this foam, made a huge nest out of it. I mean, huge. And this bee guy was totally somebody you would think from California. Like it was like it'd be like the image when Josh, you're thinking like the guy was like, all right, I got to get out like at 4 a.m. in the morning. He's like, I got to be there at like 4. Can you meet me out there at 4? And I was like, this guy, like, if you know, like, if you know Northern California, Sebastopol is like what you're thinking right now. But I'm like, that's what he's like. He's like, yeah, man, like the bees in the morning, like that's when they're like really resting, and like that's when you can get them. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah. So like, I meet this guy at the school at 4 o'clock. We go up the line, and like he's sending him down to me in these boxes. And I'm like, so like literally, like we had to collect them, and like we got them all. We got all the bees out.
Did he give you like a bee suit or not?
He did give me a bee suit.
Okay.
I was in a bee suit. It's the only time I've been in a bee suit was that time in my life. So that was a long time ago, about 5 years ago. And I'll never remember the guy's like, don't let the bees drop. He's like, guys, man, that's my bee guy experience. They should be stars. That's a tough job, people. Nobody wants to go out there, especially. I like the ones where the YouTube with the guys are like, they got the flamethrower on them and stuff. They're going full out with these things on it. So that's with it. So that's what. What do you think about Brandon? He really liked these City Connect Tampa Bay Rays jerseys. What did you think of that? So yeah, he threw out the first pitch too. Did you see that, Josh? He threw out the first pitch.
No, I didn't. I heard about it. I didn't see it. So I don't know if it was a good pitch or not.
All right, uniforms. What do you think?
So I love the old school Rays jerseys. Like I love them. I love the Devil Rays. I don't even like that they don't call them the Devil Rays anymore. I understand they had to make a little bit of a name change, ownership, whatever. I kind of dig it. I wish there was a little bit more contrasting colors so you could see all the detail, at least from the pictures I've seen. And maybe I just haven't seen the best pictures of it. I didn't think the pictures I saw did them justice, but the color scheme looks good. I think they look nice. I really do. And I like the hats. They're better than the Mets.
It's a little. I think the Mets helmet was sick though.
I think it looks like they're wearing a Queen of England tiara thing.
I like the 3D Mets thing for some reason. The Rays one, it felt a little much for me, but I didn't hate it, but I just thought that was part of it. The Phillies one, I was not a fan of that one. The Phillies one didn't make any sense. It was like that one. It felt like they were the Jaguars. Like that's what I was like.
Yeah, but they looked cool, but they were for the wrong team.
I don't know.
That was my opinion. I was like, he's looking neat, but not for this team.
Well, I'll say this: I watched the interview with the players, and they were not fans. So if they say they're not fans, that's why I got to look with it too. Senga from the Mets throwing again. Gosh, it'd be fun to see him throwing again by summer. He's fun to watch pitch, so it'd be great to see him back. The Mets are starting to play a little bit more competitive ball too. You get him in the rotation. He was one of the more exciting guys to watch pitch last year. He was in the top Cy Young voting there, so I'd love to see him get back on that list with it. So that's some of the, and then Abreu got sent down. I said Scherzer misses a start with his thumb, a rehab start there. So a little there with it. He knockoffs. It's like my A's right now. We have all the Giants knockoffs basically.
Josh and I never agree on anything, which is why I always like, and it's always
all right. They like the Rays
disagreement, right. But we finally agree on something.
All right, that's right. Where's the A's City Connect? I was kidding. All right, so we're gonna
what are they gonna look like?
They don't do City Connect.
They're not gonna do one?
It should be a middle finger if they do it this year. It should just be like a big middle finger on the back of their jersey if that's what they do with it. That's the A's with it. All right, hey.
Elephant's rear end.
Instead of Homer draft for April, which we tied at 2-2, we'll do that. We'll pick it up again. I thought maybe in June. Let's just do a new one. We're kind of messing around here with it. How about team of the week? Like who will? So by the time we do the show next week, who will have the most wins? And then you could say, well, it's always going to be the Yankees. Like no, the Twins just have won 10 in a row. So you know what I mean? Like you never know what the team of the week is going to be. So starting now, today, so that would be obviously with tomorrow's games, May 2nd, to when we do the show the following Thursday or whatever. What do you think? Who do you think will have the most wins in the American League and the National League?
Hold on. So I am not prepped for this at all. So I kind of got to look at this real quick. Hold on.
Well, I have my team prepped. I have them prepped with it.
Go ahead.
All right. So my team for most wins starting now in the National League, I'm going to take your St. Louis Cardinals. So I am taking your Cardinals to have a good week this week in the National League. That's my first team I'm taking. In the American League, the team I'm taking to have the best week, I'm going to say they kind of – May's going to turn a little corner from. They lost today. I'm going to say the Blue Jays pick it up a little bit, and they have the best week. Again, this is just between me and you. So even if my Blue Jays win 2 games and your team wins 1, I still won the week. So that's at the end of the day, people. This doesn't have to be your seats. But who do you got?
Well, you took my Cardinals, and I was going to take my Cardinals regardless because of who they're playing. But
Can't take them down.
Give me.
How about Josh's Giants?
Who are they playing?
I don't know. Just say they're playing well.
Give me Pittsburgh.
Oh, a little bounce back?
A little bounce back this week.
All right.
And then give me Cleveland.
All right. Guardians keep it up. They stay hot this week with it. All right. So we'll look back. I got Cardinals, Jays. You have Pirates, Guardians. What's the
low blow, Josh? That was too far off. I don't know what comment the low blow was. Please clarify.
The Giants, maybe.
Because I love you and got nothing but respect for you, if that's what you're talking about.
Not taking the Giants, I'm guessing maybe it's the level of it there. Come on, man, a little dry.
It's can't enough to beat anyone, and we play the Phillies. At least I didn't take the Phillies on you.
You didn't take the Phillies. You were respectful there. He says you're gonna take one out of 2. Tyler, right now, his narrative is living up to. Nobody likes to see that with it. We know nobody wants to give him that much encouragement with it. All right. We're getting at the hour mark here on the 7th inning stretch. Josh, I'm like, we're already at the hour mark. We're moving. That's how these shows kind of fun when we go through it like this. We're moving through. We're hitting topics. We're talking through it. Josh Lewis, appreciate you tuning in tonight. I hope everything's going well with you. And Backup Binge Podcast, appreciate you. Tyler jumping on the first 10 minutes with it. Edwards, you got a thought there with it? Looked like you had something to say. No.
I mean, we got a good showing. I want to thank everybody who's here tonight with us. You're always more than welcome to jump in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or X or YouTube. Appreciate y'all for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. We always enjoy a little bit of interaction.
And just to give people a little update, we'll probably be with you Thursdays most of the time. We've just been with you on Wednesdays the last 3 weeks of scheduling. We might be a little later with you the next couple Thursdays, but that's going to be our primary spot. I feel like that's a good spot in the baseball week, especially with basketball kind of. When that wraps up, that'll be a good spot for us. So if we get the chatter going a little bit more at the comments, but if us hardcore baseball fans, it's baseball first, and then you kind of just go basketball next and hockey and all that stuff with it. All right, Josh Edwards, I feel like we've hit on a lot of stuff this week. Is it MLB trivia time? I feel like it is.
I mean, if you want to smoke me again like you always do,
I don't feel like
over, man.
I was like, sometimes I'm like, all right, I just want to I don't want to make them too easy to or I don't want to go 1938 with you.
Remember, my history is not great.
Well, I feel like I played 7 years in the big leagues from 2013 to 2019, and I was a one-time All-Star and played for 3 teams. I'll give you this: he was not a pitcher.
Oh, damn it! All right,
he was not a pitcher, so I'm gonna guess it. Not gonna be enough with you. For that one. So let me get one little thing here, just a little with it, to make sure that will give it away for you. So hit number 2 with it. I had 27 hits in my first 15 games. I tied Joe DiMaggio and Terry Pendleton for the second most all time behind, yes, you know him, Irv Waldron and Bo Hart with 28. So I'm sure they played for what did they play for? Oh, back in the day, they were 1911. They're those Cincinnati Red Sox.
Bo Hart played for the Cardinals in this time period.
All right, good.
That's why I was like, oh, Bo Hart.
All right, who do you got then? You know anybody else?
Nobody. The guy I was going to pick is on the screen.
All right, you got it with it. All right, hit number 3. I've been involved in many bench clearing brawls. Madison Bumgarner really hates me.
Okay, so it's got to be somebody out of the NL West who only had a 6-year career.
He also played for the Reds and the Twins.
Reds and the Twins. Hold on.
That is the clue.
That's a good like bonus hint because I know Reds players.
He played outfield. Another bonus hit. Come on, help him out in the comments here. He needs a little help.
Oh, there's a Colorado guy on the board.
Help him out. Come on, we got to.
Tulowitzki?
Not Cargo. Not Cargo. This will give it automatically away. I thought for you, hating Madison Bumgarner, hating this guy.
I know so many people that hated Mad Bum.
Oh man, but this guy Bumgarner really didn't like him. This guy always got a Bumgarner skin more than anybody. From Cuba, Yasiel Puig is your answer there. From the LA Dodgers, Mr. Puig is the answer.
I couldn't stand him either.
Well, there is a lot of guys. Here's the why.
Fly ball, deep right field. Puig back on it. At the wall. Leaps and can't get it. It's off that new screen. Story can fly. Puig can throw. My goodness! Yasiel Puig from the wall.
Heck of a throw.
Hold on. Puig only played for the Dodgers, the Reds, and the Twins?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, he was a pain in the butt when he was in Cincinnati for the Cardinals, dude.
We are
Dude
going
was
to see
money.
this for a long, long time. He's just a few steps in from the warning track and throws him out at third base. Story did not expect that ending. Oh, my goodness.
That was a heck of a throw. Had to have him up on there. Thought it'd be a good time to share.
Still wasn't as good as Rick Ankiel's, but that was a heck of a throw.
Or Jose Guillen, basically, from the same spot on something like with that. What did you think? He says Josh here. I'd argue Mac Muncy from Bumgarner thing, but he hasn't retired yet. No, I hear you. That's right there with it. I feel like that. But man, I just remember Puig getting. There was a lot of things with them, even if it was chirping between them. But you're right. Max Muncy definitely was. Him and Bumgarner were not fans as well. But Puig, remember when he came on the scene? That was
in Cincinnati.
His first 4 months were like, wow, this guy's going to be the best player in the league. Like that's what it was like.
And he burned out. I forgot how quick he burned out.
He had a good second year too. That second year, and then after that, he I would say burned out at that point. There, he kept getting a lot of drama stuff. There was that. I feel like something went down with him from the Cuba standpoint, like where I feel like there was something behind the scenes where like people were taking money, like what do you call that? Not I want to say escort. It's not escort. Where they try to extortion money for you, like that kind of thing.
It would be a rat hole.
Yeah, like basically, like, hey, we'll take you over. They want that. I don't know if anybody actually liked Puig. I don't think a lot of players liked him. I remember him getting McGuire's face one time in an incident, actually at the Oakland Coliseum. He was like, "What are you talking to me?" Like, so Puig was the answer. I thought that time frame might be a good.
That was a good time frame. That one's 100% on me. That was totally knowable for me.
I thought Mr. Edwards might be able to get that week. Josh, feel like it's been a pretty good show this week. I have one more, of course, with the MLB Flashback of the week. Did you see that college video of the guy doing the pump fake, though, before we get out of here on something else? Did you see that where he, caught a fly ball and kind of pretended like he caught it early but then didn't and then threw it out? Did you ever see that by chance, that little video? Yeah.
You have it up for everybody else to see right now?
I can get it up there if you give me a second, but I thought it was kind of crazy, that video. It was Arkansas and, I think it was like Georgia or something like that, Florida. That was the video on there right there. Give me just a second.
Since it was brilliant.
It was an odd play for sure. So I thought we could get it up there real quick.
Yamamoto is in the bottom of the fifth. He's throwing a shutout right now, still against Arizona, and Montgomery got chased out in the third inning.
All right. There's the play right here.
Back. Plenty of room. Looking to tag will be Done. Catch made. A little pump fake, and he fooled everybody. Now a late break, and the throw home is in time.
Yeah, it was odd that he was able to kind of just get him. It was a great play, like the way he was able to just manipulate it so well. That was the part that was so fast to me. Like, honestly, it took me a few times to see it.
Right, yeah, because even in that clip, you can barely tell. Like, unless you're looking for it, you're not going to notice it.
No, I thought that took me a little while to see that one for sure. So I just thought that one was, to me, one of the best plays I saw this week. All right, here's my flashback video of the week. It's not necessarily a video, but it's a guy we just don't talk about ever. I feel like ever. And I was like,
Barry Larkin?
Yeah, I'm just going to get his state. I'm going to get some stuff up on him a little bit and just feel like it's a little spot for us to kind of just, as we're kind of, I got some of his plays in the background here with it. Kind of just quite a player. You know what I mean? Just won a World Series, obviously, with the Reds in 1990. Obviously, playing on that AstroTurf too, had to be a good defender, a good hitter. Played for a long time. Kind of one of the more underappreciated players, I would say, in MLB history for him from an MVP standpoint. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely, and it's because of the team he was on. The back half of his career. They didn't win enough for him.
I
to
love
get
those
seen.
Red Berets.
Barry Larkin's fantastic. He was a great player. I got to see him when I was younger, like real young.
He was kind of at the end of his prime, though, probably with us, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Behind his prime when you probably even saw him, because do you remember when he played the Mets in the playoffs in that one game? By chance, you probably were too young for that one too. Outlier played. Yeah, Outlier played. They were in a one game, and I felt like that was a big year. They lost that one at home in kind of a one game to get into the playoffs. This was old school, like the 14 playoff thing too. It's somebody for me when I've rewatched the 1990 World Series. There's him and Eric Davis always come to mind of guys that, that probably back then I just didn't watch enough, but you can just tell they were probably absolute studs.
I mean, he was. I'm going to get some hate for this one. He was probably the closest thing Cincinnati ever had to an Ozzie Smith at short.
He was an MVP, right? I mean, how can you say not? He won a World Series.
Yeah, but I'm talking about his dynamic ability to play the position, the range he had defensively. But so I like I said, I think he's the closest thing the Reds have ever had to that kind of a player that the Cardinals
He was a stud. I don't know if I could get Josh to get him on that one, but I was like, I think I can get it without giving it away. But I just feel like he was a good person for a flashback here with it. Absolutely. All right, Josh, where did I go wrong?
Dude, I think you were
on money
tonight, baby.
All right, I like it.
I was on tonight.
A little shout out to our guy here. Sorry we didn't get to the diamond notes and other little production stuff. We'll get better at that. But Mr. CEO, we do appreciate the new intro video and the new outro videos as we got with it on the show. So appreciate him getting that Brandon out there with the good work here on Variety Sports Network up to 552 subscribers. It's been an hour and about 10 minutes here on Seventh Inning Stretch. Josh, it's only felt like 20 though, sir. It's been a great show.
Quick.
As always, I can't end the show with where did Daren go wrong at the end here. I can't do that. Nobody wants to see that with it. So, all right. Josh Edwards, another good show this week. We'll get into next week with it. We're probably back to our Thursday rotation. So we'll hope to see you then with it. All right. So for Josh Edwards, Tyler McGurk for a couple minutes here as well on Variety Sports Network. I'm Daren Breyer. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.